I'm Teague.
And I'm Sam.
And we are your well-informed girlfriends.
Bringing you today's news, gossip, and unsolicited hot takes. This week, we're talking about the latest news out of Iran, how the latest jobs report might indicate the U.S. is moving into a new hiring era, and the data behind Gen Z's so-called dating recession.
Okay, I love it. Plus, why RFK Jr. is going after Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. Whoa. Literally. How what you eat can actually affect your dreams. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
It's
I feel like
thing.
If you have spicy food, it's about to get crazy.
I had no idea. And then we're also going to be talking about something the kids are calling boy kibble. LOL.
It sounds not tasty.
Move over girl dinner.
Boy kibble is here.
Boy kibble's here. All that and so much more on this week's episode of Well-Informed Girlfriends. Okay, so to start us off, we got to just do a quick heavy story, and that's going to be on Sam.
Yeah, okay. Great. Like serious time. All right. Serious moment.
Yes.
We do want to talk about the escalating conflict in Iran.
We do.
Because this is a news podcast first and foremost. So we wanted to tell you all about what's going on. So for those of you who've been following along, at the end of February, the U.S. and Israel launched major airstrikes targeting Iran's military, their infrastructure, and nuclear-related facilities. The strikes killed several senior leaders and dramatically escalated tensions across the Middle East. Since then, Iran has retaliated. Missile attacks and regional proxy activity, that's referring specifically to like Hezbollah and other groups that they sort of sponsor in other countries.
Yeah.
And the conflict has expanded across the region with fighting and strikes impacting different kinds of countries around the area. So far, there have been 7 U.S. service members who have died in the conflict. That's as of Sunday afternoon. And governments around the world are actually warning that this conflict could grow into a wider regional conflict. I do want to mention the biggest flashpoint thus far, what I'm seeing online, has been this bombing of a girls' elementary school in southern Iran. It killed somewhere between 165 to 180 staff and students. And that's according to local officials. The school was close to a military base, and the U.S. has confirmed that it was operating in the area at the time, but they haven't taken official responsibility for the attack. The Pentagon says they're investigating, and officials have said repeatedly that American forces would, quote, not deliberately target a school. However, investigations by journalists and officials have suggested that the U.S. military is likely responsible. Meanwhile, UN and human rights groups say the attack could constitute a war crime.
Ooh.
So that's tough. But we don't know all the details yet, and I think that we'll have to stay tuned for more, but that's what's going on around that. What's going on here in the U.S., though?
So back here in the U.S., the kind of biggest things that we're thinking about and looking at are the energy and global economy overall.
Yeah.
Iran has threatened shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Is that how you say it?
Hormuz.
That's that critical route that carries a large share of the world's oil. So disruptions there have already pushed oil prices up pretty sharply.
Yeah.
And driven up gasoline prices in the U.S. just in the past week.
Yeah, it's like over $5 here.
Yeah, exactly. And there's, of course, also concern about broader geopolitical fallout from cyber attacks, which is something we have to be worried about. I don't know if you noticed this the other day. Amazon was down, the website. I was like trying to buy something for work, and Amazon was down for the entire day.
That's
and
crazy.
It was like across the country, like several people, like you couldn't buy anything, which is like not that big of a deal, but it shows you how these things can affect us on a daily basis.
Oh, for
and
sure.
how easy it is to do cyber attacks. And there's no like direct evidence that was because of Iran, but some people were suggesting that might have been the case because there was some bombing in one of like the Amazon warehouses in the Middle East.
Oh, wow.
So they said that could have affected the website shutdown. So
yeah. So
pretty
just
crazy.
something to pay attention to. And Iran is like known for being capable of cyber attacks as well.
Yeah.
And with the advent of AI, I'll just say this anecdotally, there's been way more cyber attacks just across the board.
Yeah.
Because bad actors can use AI to cyber attack now. So all something to be considerate of.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, another kind of somewhat heavy story.
Yeah, but important.
But important. You know, we love to talk about the jobs report here.
Yes.
That's one of our favorite topics here on the podcast. I just think it's like a really good way to indicate like what is happening in the economy. I feel like that's like a trickle down of like what happens from the job report shows like what's actually happening around the country. So really quickly, we wanted to talk about the latest jobs report that suggests the U.S. labor market may be entering a new phase in 2026. So for the past couple of years, the job market has been surprisingly strong. Even with high interest rates, employers kept hiring and unemployment stayed relatively low. But the latest numbers suggest that may be starting to change. So in February, the US economy unexpectedly lost about 92,000 jobs
Wow.
when economists had actually expected job growth.
Hmm.
So the unemployment rate also ticked up slightly to 4.4%, up from 4.3 the month before.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean the economy is suddenly in total crisis. Unemployment is still relatively low by historical standards, but
Right.
economists say that the report is another sign that the labor market is cooling after years of extremely strong hiring.
Got
So
it. So, like, what does that mean for normal workers?
so some of the job losses may be temporary,
Oh, okay.
like a large healthcare strike in California and winter storms slowing hiring in industries like construction or
Right.
whatever,
That
like
makes
that's
sense.
seasonal, right? But the broader trend is what economists are watching. So hiring slowed significantly in 2025, and the job growth this year has been just inconsistent,
Mm.
with businesses becoming more cautious about expanding their workforce. So for normal workers, it honestly could mean that the job market just becomes a little less forgiving than it was during the post-pandemic boom. Switching
Yeah.
jobs might be harder, which we've seen,
Oh, yeah.
and
I mean,
wage
we work in
growth.
media, so it's already been rough.
Yeah, wage growth could be slow. So yeah, it's definitely interesting, definitely something to keep an eye on, because I feel
Right.
like it's just really like it shows you what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I
Yeah.
mean, we're seeing a lot of the SaaS apocalypse, as they're calling it, the software as a service, stocks being down, and like a
What's
lot
that
of those.
mean?
So software as a service is kind of like the Microsofts, the whatever
Yeah.
kinds of companies.
Uh-huh.
And they're calling it the SaaS apocalypse because a lot of those companies have seen crazy drops like in the last month or so.
For jobs?
Not just for jobs, but for their stocks specifically.
Oh,
And so when
stocks.
these big companies stocks do poorly, they're going to hire less too. So I
Oh,
think that's
interesting.
probably going forward going to play a role in like the hiring for the biggest sector of the economy, which is tech.
Right. Wow.
So
Wow.
tea, that's some tea.
That's tea. And also like
Speaking of tea,
yeah, speaking of tea, okay, so Dunkin' Donuts under fire.
oh my
And
gosh.
how could anybody attack Dunkin' Donuts? Okay, so we have to talk about it. I'm sure everybody is well aware, because I feel like it's been going around online this week. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the two biggest coffee chains in America, Starbucks and Dunkin', they're going at it.
Oh,
So at
okay.
a recent Eat Real Food rally in Austin, Kennedy said he wants the companies to prove that some of their extremely sugary drinks are actually safe, especially for teenagers. He pointed to certain iced coffee beverages that contain over 100 grams of sugar in a single drink, questioning whether these companies can show evidence that those levels are safe for young people to consume. And most of this I think is a little bit crazy, but I gotta say, 100 grams of sugar in a drink is sneaky and uncool. Like, I really don't think they should be having that much sugar in the drink. I mean, come on. You
That's a
have
lot of
some
sugar.
responsibility as a Starbucks and a Dunkin'. Like, please, like, there are a lot of young kids drinking this. Even if it's adults, like, that is so bad. That can, like, immediately spike your insulin and, like, you feel really bad and you crash right after. Like, I think, I actually think this is an important conversation for a lot of people are saying, oh, government overreach, like we don't want the government to get involved in like what we're eating and stuff. But it's also like those things are like objectively bad. So it's like if these companies can at least, I don't know, start to prove that they have us in mind and our health in mind, then I think that'd be helpful. What do you think about it?
I mean, first of all, I want to point out the hypocrisy of this because when the Obama era administration made all of these companies put their calories on the sign if they had over X amount of employees or whatever,
Hmm.
everyone was like, wow, government overreach, blah, blah, blah. And they complained about it. And now that it's the Maha movement, suddenly we're okay with it. All right.
Yeah,
That's something. I mean, listen, yeah, 100 grams of sugar is an insane amount of sugar
it's
for a single
crazy.
drink. Like, I totally agree. I do think to some degree, like pressuring these companies to either make healthier options or at least provide some sort of data to the consumer could be helpful
Yeah.
for inspiring healthier eating. But I also think that it sounds a little bit like it would be hard to enforce.
Yeah, I think it's just like it would be nice to have a little bit of transparency. I think it's nice that people are talking about it. Like I think it's good. Like I didn't even realize, and I'm not a Starbucks girl. I'm not really a Dunkin' girl. Like if
Me
I'm
either.
around it or like I don't know in Boston, like and it feels right, I'll do it. But like I'm not that I'm not addicted to those drinks. You know, I'm addicted
No.
to Celsius and Diet Coke, but
Same.
so I'm different, but same vice essentially.
Same vice, different, like zero
Different
sugar
substance.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aspartame.
Yeah. But I do think, I think it's important to start at least like making people aware of that. Like I didn't know that. Like I've gotten Starbucks drinks and like I've never thought about asking or looking at what was in it. You know, you just assume like, oh, it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
100 grams of sugar is crazy.
To be fair, we have fully formed frontal lobes too, and we're not thinking like that. But I will tell you right now, when Starbucks opened a coffee shop next to like my mom's house, walking distance, like 3 minutes away, your girl was for sure getting a mocha frappuccino,
Yeah,
like
of course.
once a week minimum. And to be fair, mocha frappuccinos used to be like $3.
Yeah.
But you know, in hindsight, you know, I'm lucky I was working out all the time because I think that could have been catastrophic if I weren't. And I don't think I thought of or even it never occurred to me that that could be 100 grams of sugar.
Totally. And when you think about like beverages, you don't think about your calories really coming from beverages. You're thinking about like, oh, like what am I eating? But
Yeah,
like if a
especially when you're
drink feels
young.
like so like nonchalant, like, oh yeah, it's just a drink. But if it has
Right.
100 grams of sugar, it's like definitely affecting what's, how your
Yeah.
body's feeling, so
For sure. And
ultimately.
like culturally as a country, I think it would be healthier for us to just kind of try and get away from that as like
Yeah.
what we're into. So I don't know. I think it could go either way, truthfully. It depends on their execution of whatever they're gonna do.
Yeah, this reminds me of, remember years ago they got rid of like the supersize. Remember
Yes,
that?
the supersized drinks and fries at McDonald's.
Yes.
I do remember that.
And a lot of people were up in arms. They're like, you can't get rid of my supersize.
Yeah.
But like it's like now it's like, yeah, of course they had to do that. That was crazy.
That
People
was
were
a crazy amount. Like
was
no
even
one
when
should drink a gallon of cola a day. That's nuts.
And even recently they got rid of that Mountain Dew at Taco Bell or something because it was like had so much caffeine in it. People were like literally passing out. Remember that?
Oh,
That also
wait, I
happened
thought that was
recently.
the Panera supercharged lemonade.
That was also, yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, can everybody chill out on the drinks? What happened to water and milk?
We are literally drinking Diet Coke as she says this. Let the record reflect. Like, hello,
so
pot,
right.
meat kettle.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hilarious.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
What's this next story about? I want to hear it.
Okay, well, it's a nice segue. So we're talking about how what you eat can actually affect your dreams. Now, this is something I didn't know was a thing. Apparently, you kind of do. But there's this new study, and it's looking into this long-standing myth that foods like cheese or milk or spicy foods actually could give you nightmares, ?
Okay.
So there was this research done. It was a bunch of college-age kids. And they were basically looking at their eating habits, sleep quality, and dreams. So the real findings here were that 40% of participants said certain foods affected their sleep quality.
Okay.
And roughly 25% said that foods made their sleep worse, some foods, while 20% said certain foods improved it. Only about 5% believed that foods affected their dreams directly, but those who did most often blamed desserts and sweets, spicy foods, and dairy products.
Gotcha.
So there is some research actually why dairy could affect your sleep and potentially be linked to nightmares. Researchers say that the key issue on dairy itself is that some people could be lactose intolerant. And maybe they don't realize it. And so people who are lactose intolerant may experience like just upset stomach throughout the night.
So your sleep is way worse when that happens.
Your sleep is way worse. Yeah, it just disrupts your sleep. It can lead to like disturbing dreams as a result of like just not feeling well.
Yeah.
And these physical discomfort during sleep can cause sleep interruptions, micro arousals, like kind of waking up and being like, you're just awake for no reason. Besides dairy, the study also found some people blamed sweets, spicy foods, heavy late night meals for poor sleep. And Sam and I, before the podcast started, did admit that both of us got late night garbage food this weekend. And I gotta say, I don't think it affected my sleep, but it probably did.
Yeah.
I go for Jack in the Box.
Yeah. I go for
a pizza.
And I'll admit this. So I also am lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
I am aware I just copped to eating a pizza, and for sure that's part of it. But I have like truly insane dreams all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I think it's probably because I eat dairy despite being lactose intolerant. But I also think maybe if you're waking up a lot, you can remember your dream better because you were like kind of awake
You're
but
in
kind
and
of
out of
asleep.
your REM
Yeah.
sleep. Yeah.
And so it's like I had this crazy dream after eating the pizza that like I was in a building that collapsed and
No.
like had to crawl out of rubble. It was
No.
terrifying.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. That's
And like I don't
horrifying.
know that it caused the nightmare. I think I just remembered it better because my stomach was also like glurg, glurg, glurg. You know what I mean?
So you were like waking up
Yeah.
in a panic.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's
So
really
funny.
interesting.
So is the takeaway to like not eat dairy before bed or
I think the takeaway is to try and avoid dairy before bed, try and avoid like spicy food or like
Yeah.
super salty foods. Also really not good before you go to bed because it's water retention right before you go
Sure.
to sleep. You can't really move anything around.
Mm.
I just got, and this is a sidetrack, but I have to tell you guys, I just got a vibration plate. Oh my God.
I'm sorry, what is a vibration plate?
Oh my gosh, you don't know? You haven't
No.
been, it's been on my TikTok. It's been on my like TikTok for you page, like as a suggestion for me to buy for months. And I just went to my friend's house in Miami. She had one. I got on it and I was like, my life has changed for the better. It's this plate that you stand on. And it just like moves your body. It shakes your entire body. But what it does is it like gets rid of lymphatic fluid. Like it shakes up lymphatic fluid and gets your body like moving. And like I feel like it's great because I hold a lot of water weight and just water in my like legs and in my
Oh, right,
ankles.
yeah.
And I like love it. After like 10 minutes on it, I feel like lighter. It's amazing. I love it.
I'm gonna have to come stand on it and see if
Yeah.
my life is similar.
Come stand on it. It's amazing. You actually have to come over and stand on it because
Okay.
it's like a really great time. Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited to see it.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know where I was going with that, but it's exciting.
Okay. I did want to talk about anxiety dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were eavesdropping on someone recently who was talking about their anxiety dreams.
Oh, yeah. There were some girlies at the pool when I was in Miami, and they were
Yeah.
talking about how they have these anxiety dreams, and they're like increasing right now because I think there's like just so much going on. But
So much like instability
in the world.
In the world. And so it's kind of manifesting in your dreams. And I mean,
Yeah.
I was in a building that collapsed in my brain. Like, what's wrong with me?
That's scary.
But I do feel like I've had a lot more sort of reoccurring, not even reoccurring nightmares, just like different varieties of nightmares. Don't worry.
Yeah.
My brain gets creative with how I'm traumatized. But
Yeah.
and I'm like remembering them a lot, which sucks. But have you had this experience as well?
I have, yeah, but mine always comes in the form of like because I was always on dance teams, like mine always comes in the form of like you're at the game, you forgot your costume, and you're off the team. Like that's my anxiety dream. Or like I get to this is a funny one that I have a lot, which is like sick and twisted and shows you how messed up I am. But I get to the game and then I realize I forgot to get a spray tan. So in my brain, I look horrific, which is not even true, but I just like always feel like I look better with a spray tan. And so I like have to find a way to like go get a spray tan or like go get a mousse tan to put on my body before the game.
Oh my God. At least you're not
Hilarious.
naked or something. That would be way worse,
That'd
right?
be worse, I guess. But would it? No, I'm
But
just
would
kidding.
it? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
my God,
anxiety dreams. They're on the rise.
They are. I mean, at least anecdotally.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, this next story I found to be pretty interesting. It's about how moms have a declining mental health situation going on in this country. So do you want to talk about the new study?
Yeah. Okay. So researchers analyzed data from nearly 200,000 moms with kids under 18 as part of this national survey for children's health between the years 2016 to 2023.
Okay.
Looking at changes between those 2 years. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the results showed a significant drop in how moms are rating their own well-being. So back in 2016, 38% of mothers said they had, quote, excellent mental health, which honestly seems kind of high, frankly.
Yeah.
And by 2023, that number had fallen to just 26%. And at the same time, more mothers reported their mental health as only good or fair or poor. And so that like fairer or poorer category is up from 5.5% to 8.5%. So it's like near like a significant rise.
Right.
And the researchers said this decline is happening across every demographic group, but it's especially pronounced among single mothers, women with lower levels of education, and those with limited access to health insurance.
Okay.
And they think obviously there's a number of factors contributing here. Obviously, financial stress, social isolation following the pandemic, limited access to care, but also broader societal pressures like inflation and safety concerns.
Right.
And so the issue with that, of course, like you want moms to do well, but also health experts say that a parent's mental health can have a huge impact on their child's development. And so when mothers struggle with stress, anxiety, depression, it can affect everything in early childhood, from early childhood development to like longer health outcomes for your child. And so they're saying that the study might be a warning sign for broader issues in women's health and family well-being in the US. And so addressing it, that's going to be a whole other thing.
Wow, that's interesting. First of all, I'm happy we're talking about it because I think it's a really important topic. But yeah, if you think about it and like the ramifications of what that could look like down the line,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's a whole generation of kids who had stressed out parents, and like that can't be good down the line. So
No.
I think it's like really important for us to just be aware of it and try to help out these moms as much as we can.
For sure. And they say things like the body keeps score when you experience this as a child, like high levels of anxiety, even if you're 2 or 3 and you won't remember it as an adult, you are more likely to be an anxious person because of this sort of situation. And so it's like really important, not just for the moms we want to help, but also for the future kids of America,
Right, right.
It's tough.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. So I've actually been thinking a lot about this lately, not necessarily the moms thing, but
Okay.
sort of about how the sentiment in the US feels kind of like a bummer right now.
Okay.
And so I've been thinking about how millennials went from optimism in the Obama years to what I'm calling the post-optimism era. We talked about this a few weeks ago, but
Yeah.
how we believed things would get better as kids, and then we lived through ongoing financial crisis, a pandemic, climate anxiety, political chaos. You get it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people defaulted to cynicism. And so in this sort of post-optimist era, we were feeling really down and kind of almost nihilistic, a little bit like, what does it all matter? What are we all here for? But I think I'm moving into the next phrase.
I would love that.
I am calling informed optimism.
Okay, great.
Which means like understanding the problems and the systems behind them and still choosing to believe that progress is possible.
Yeah.
And actually the research bears this out. I could go on forever about this, but I'll give you like the TLDR.
Okay.
One psychologist named Martin Seligman,
Yeah.
he says that pessimism and hopeless thinking are not fixed worldviews, but they're actually explanatory styles that can change.
Okay.
And his theory of learned optimism shows people can move from pessimism to a more hopeful outlook by reframing those setbacks and recognizing that negative events are not permanent or universal. So in other words, even though you might be feeling nihilistic now, you can develop a more constructive worldview.
Okay.
And then another psychologist out of Stanford, Jamil Zaki, argues that cynicism is often a protective response to disappointment. So that might be what we're all feeling.
Okay.
But it's not psychologically healthy to be there. And research shows that hope is actually a more activating emotion than despair, and it helps people take action and change. Hence why you could say in Obama, his running on hope was like such a galvanizing response and how he was able to win. So anyways, the implication of all this is that cynicism and nihilism often emerge after the trust is broken, but people can rebuild hope. And then I'm sorry, I'm almost done.
Yeah,
but
you're going to have to break this down.
I'm trying. And so, okay, other psychologists working in existential psychology argue that confronting meaningless is part of the process of constructing meaning. And so this all traces back to a man who was locked up in Nazi concentration camps, and he observed the prisoners around him and found that the people who could find a reason to live, even amid obviously unimaginable suffering, were more likely to psychologically survive. And so the primary human drive is not pleasure or power, but actually finding meaning in your life. And so all of this to say, to bring it home here.
Please.
All of this to say, if you can find meaning in your life and you can look at what has disappointed you and realize that there is a way to feel hopeful and create change about it, then you will feel better and live a better life.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been on this wave, so I can't not live on this wave.
I know. I mean, and truly, I totally get that because what else do we have? But I think a lot of us were feeling kind of nihilistic, not nihilistic, but cynical for sure about things after all of this, all of our chaos, amid all of the chaos, actually, not even after. We're still in the thick of it.
We're kind of in it. Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. And I just thought it was I did a deep dive into psychology this weekend. So I thought I would share.
Yeah. That's interesting. No, I definitely think this is very true. And I think it's goes back to the thing. It's if you expect good things to happen, good things will happen. And right. It's kind of the same thing. It's you have to have a positive attitude because there's really no way to go about the world in a negative way and then get positive results. It just simply doesn't work that way.
Right.
So it's you almost have to just go into things with hope and try to just bear through it and hopefully it goes well.
Yeah. And it's not to say you should bury your head in the sand and be blindly optimistic. I think what I'm trying to say is knowing exactly what's happening is helpful, but then you have to look at it as the opportunity to change and make something better and be hopeful that you can.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay, I love
speaking
that.
of looking at things that could change.
Yeah. Okay, so the Washington Post published this opinion piece this week about how the so-called dating recession is happening and why so many young adults are just not pairing up at all,
Oh,
which I thought was
wow.
crazy.
That's bleak.
So there's this growing idea that in the US there is a dating recession. So fewer young adults are dating, forming relationships, or getting married, or even being in relationships.
Mm,
Some researchers say that this could reshape the future of families, fertility, social life, so many things.
right.
This new report on the dating recession found that more than 2/3 of young adults either didn't date or only went on a few dates in the past year.
Wow.
Could you imagine no dates at all? I mean,
No.
I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So if this trend continues, about 1/3 may never marry, and around 1/4 may never have children.
Hmm.
So in some places, this trend is even sharper. For example, roughly half of men in San Francisco remain unmarried by age 40. Half.
Half?
Half of the men in San Francisco at 40 years old are not married.
Wow.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
That is so many.
Yeah. So the article argues that the issue isn't simply technology or dating apps. The deeper problem is a loss of social structures that once helped people meet partners.
Oh,
So
sure.
historically, we had things like friends, families, churches, communities
Right, right.
that they helped facilitate these introductions and these relationships. But today, those structures are weaker, frankly, leaving
Yeah.
individuals, to navigate dating alone.
Right.
So modern culture pushes young adults to focus on career as well. This is another thing. Build personal brands, prioritize self-development, keep options open. Like, remember when you were in your 20s, everyone's like, don't settle down, don't do anything, don't
Yeah.
figure it out, try everything. And I love that way of doing life. Like, I would have not done my 20s differently,
Not
but
me
like
either.
there are different ways to do it, right? You could have like found
Sure.
a partner or whatever. Anyways, so the author of the piece argues that people often optimize everything except relationships. So they're thinking about career, they're thinking about money, they're thinking about investing, they're thinking about all these things, but like relationships for some reason sit on the back burner nowadays,
Yeah.
which I think is interesting.
That kind of makes sense. I feel like that was true for us too.
Yeah. So many realize in their mid 30s or 40s that they have actually postponed something deeply meaningful.
Mm.
And as we know, dating apps promise limitless options.
Sure.
But as we know, that can create a sort of paralysis, because you just have so many options. It leads to decision fatigue,
Right.
superficial evaluation, and the feeling that someone better is always one swipe away.
Tough.
Yeah, which is tough. So the result obviously is less commitment, more uncertainty, less people actually choosing to settle down. The article points to a new app, which I don't know what it's called, but it's designed to reduce the chaos in dating. So instead of endless swiping, it limits your choices and intentionally matches people.
Oh, okay.
So it does a little bit more groundwork. I don't know how they're doing it. Probably AI. But ironically, the system resembles what religious communities or traditional matchmaking once did. So
Gotcha.
yeah. But as a result, like what this could mean if we keep going this way, it would mean fewer relationships, fewer marriages, fewer children.
Okay.
And that obviously will affect the world and the economy if we keep going that way. So sociologists warn that society could see more people aging without immediate family or kin. Kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess if that's what people want, like, I'm not saying people need to be boxed in by like traditional marriage if that's
Yeah.
not what they're wanting.
Yeah.
So, but I do think like on a society wide scale, that is kind of tough because it will mean the like lack of community as we get older too, not just us. And I think a lot of my friends, I have way more friends who are child free by choice versus people who, I mean, I would say it's about half and half, my friends that have kids and friends that don't. And we're in our I'm in my mid 30s. And so I think that's true for our generation as well.
Yeah. Well, I just think our generation, we stretched out childhood,
Yes.
as we've discussed a few times. Like
Yes,
we had a great time in our 20s. No one was like so pressured to like figure things out instantly. Like I feel like when our parents were growing up, it was like my mom got married, I think at 19 years old. So
Oh my
it was
God,
just
really?
different. Yeah, it was just different. She had her first kid at 20. And so that's the life that they were used to, and now we had them as our parents, and my mom as a result was like, don't get married at 20 please, and instead wait a little bit, have a little bit of a life, figure out what you want to do, and like really like figure it out, which I appreciate that advice too. But as a result, I am single, so Not your fault, Mom. It's fine. I'm
If
gonna
you're
be
listening, Mom,
Yeah.
don't worry. Well, and that's so interesting you bring that up because I saw another story this week in The Guardian that said a new survey of nearly 30 countries found 1/3 of Generation Z men think a wife should obey her husband versus Gen Z women, only 18% of them agree with that. And so I think that kind of shows the separation between Gen Z people and where they're feeling about future roles in marriage as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't see that.
And it was also really, I just want to talk about this for a second because I thought it was so strange. So for baby boomers, 13% of men agreed a wife should always obey her husband. So more Gen Z boys than baby boomers thought that a woman should kowtow to her husband. Isn't that
Wow.
strange?
That's interesting.
And among boomer women, only 6% thought that they should follow their husbands. So
that's funny because you thought like you would think boomers were kind of on that wave.
You would
boomers
totally
were kind
think
of on
that.
that wave of like they were doing that.
Yeah, but you know what? I think there's something that really important. I was thinking about this the other day when I was thinking about my mom and like her friends. They all lived through women's lib in the 70s. And so they experienced this sort of liberation. They were allowed to get credit cards, they were burning bras, whatever. And like I think that I'm sorry, not whatever. Thank you to the women who came before us.
Incredible.
But I think that some of them really sort of imbibed that to some degree. And they're like, no, I want a more egalitarian relationship. Even though they might have had some more traditionalist views, they're not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do what my husband tells me every single time because like, I don't know if you've ever lived with a man, but you simply cannot. And so I think that was like, I don't know. And I think Gen Z we've seen this huge proliferation of trad wife content online and that sort of thing. And I think that's a little bit warping the minds of young people. But yeah, I mean, I do think that as Gen Z goes forward into the marriage era of their cohort, we'll see a lot of discrepancy between the men and women and what they want out of a marriage too.
Yeah, that's really interesting. What about millennials, did it say?
I don't know what it said for millennials. I think we're just like hanging out. You know what's so funny? Millennials too are like the only generation that's like not really getting more conservative as we get older.
Yeah.
We're just like still the same.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh my God.
Okay,
So
what is this next story? Oh, this is hilarious.
oh my God, yes. I would love to talk about this.
Yeah.
So, okay. A new dating trend says romance is out and running errands together is in.
Oh, I love it.
When you and your partner head to Target together instead of a candlelit dinner, this is called a chore-mance.
Okay.
It appeals to a very busy and burnt out generation of daters, one dating expert told the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
And she said that the risk with this form of dating is decreased intimacy and spiked cortisol as partners don't feel able to truly relax in each other's company.
That's interesting. I totally see this as a thing because sometimes, I mean, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like if I'm dating a guy, then we always do stuff together. We're not really good at just like hanging out because I think we kind of maybe feel uncomfortable to be like just like hanging,
sitting there staring at each other.
Yeah, it's like different, you know? So
like when you
I
have
could
a
see that.
task, it feels lower stakes. So I think that's kind of nice.
Yeah, you have things to do.
But it's like when you're just sitting there, it could hurt you're, building a true connection versus just running an errand.
Because if you're going to really date someone,
a
lot of life is boring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you honestly, here's my hot take. You have the rest of your life to do chores with your partner. Let me tell you, as a married person, I'm just chilling with that guy at Target all the time. You know what I mean? Like go on the candlelit dinners. Get some nice dates in.
But I think this is kind of fun because chore-mance feels like we have like something to do. We have an activity. We have something to accomplish. It feels like there's like a goal. I think it's fun.
And you know what? I also have to say, I think doing chores with your friends is something our generation is sleeping on.
Yeah.
Like we bring back chill hangs where we go to Target and spend $50 on dumb stuff. Like that was way more fun than 2 cocktails.
That was us during the pandemic. We'd go to CVS together.
Oh my gosh, yes. We'd be like, time to go buy Oreos. And we would like literally go buy Oreos. In a mask, obvs, but that was like our activity. I think there's something to be said about like a low stakes hang.
No, for sure.
I think that, and that could be good for dating, but I think only doing chores together, I don't know about that.
No, it's too much. Then you're a coworker.
Exactly. Yeah. You're a coworker.
What are we going? Where are we just clocking in?
Hanging out. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
Much. Okay, now this is hilarious. So there's this new trend online, which it's been a thing forever. It's not really a trend, but it is.
It has recently been named.
It's recently been named, and I love it. So no longer are we talking about the girl dinner. The internet now has something we are calling boy kibble. Hilarious.
Oh my
So it is a
gosh.
TikTok trend where guys proudly eat the same ultra simple meal every day, usually just rice and ground beef, because it's cheap, high protein, and requires zero thought.
Sure. So basically dog food for gym bros.
Exactly. So some creators joke that it's basically dog food, yeah, for gym bros, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But fans say it's actually pretty practical. Easy macros, no decision fatigue. So if girl dinner was chaotic snacking, then boy kibble is the male answer. So pure efficiency, I guess.
Yeah, they're just like gotta get these gains.
Got to get these gains in. You know, I have to say, I eat pretty much exclusively boy kibble. I am a boy kibble. I didn't know that that's what I've been eating. I don't do girl dinners. I do boy kibble. I
my
just eat
gosh.
like ground beef or like just chicken. I never even really get rice involved because
You just eat the meat.
yeah, I'm just like a meat girl.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, like, that's easy. It's an easy decision
it's easy.
and it's super healthy. So, you know, maybe there's something to be gained from that. Girl dinner, maybe not that healthy. Like, I
No.
had chips and salsa the other day for dinner and I was like, what am I doing?
Right. A little cheese, a little cracker.
Yeah,
a
that's not
little-
exactly good for you.
No.
No gains to be made from that.
Yeah, but boy kibble, I like it.
It's tea, clocking it.
I kind of love it.
Okay.
That's amazing.
That's so funny.
Okay,
a-
our last story.
last story I would love to discuss.
Yeah.
A new viral trend is calling out something called young ho behavior.
Okay.
It all started with this viral tweet that said young hoes cook everything on high. And now
Okay.
people are using it to describe the chaotic shortcuts that we all take in our 20s, like microwaving everything, never reading directions, or doing laundry at midnight.
Okay.
And so you'll see people online being like, young hoes do X, Y, and Z. And it's like them just casually throwing all of their colored laundry and whites and everything in a load of laundry at midnight on high. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like a chaotic
It's behavior.
cheat code behavior. But like,
Okay.
when I saw this, I immediately went, well, I have ADHD and your girl still does that. She's a young hoe, evidently. Like, I don't know. And I asked ChatGPT, like, is this the same thing? Because that's who I go to for all the trends about kids.
Right.
It's like, am I also a young hoe? And it was like, no. Young hoe behavior is when you cook everything on high because you're impatient. ADHD behavior is when you forgot you were cooking anything at all. And I was like, a personal attack?
That's hilarious.
No need to call me out like that, chat. Jeez. So
Wow,
rude.
that's crazy. Okay, now I get it. So young hoe behavior is when you are just like impatient, you just want to get things done. And now I get it. I kind of was confused in the beginning, but now I understand.
Yeah, it's like you just want to get everything done as fast as possible and you're not like that invested in it looking that good. So you're just like, whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a growing pains situation. You know what I mean? Like, I maybe wouldn't have microwaved something on 60% and then stirred and zapped it for 30 on high because that's insane. I would just microwave it for a full minute on high. But now I
Right.
know because I've learned. I've lived a life. I was burned once by a Trader Joe's meal. Like, your girl has some experience under her belt. And now
Right.
we do things a little bit differently. But this is about like being young and lazy essentially. But I'm like, whatever, we all did that in our 20s, you know?
We all did that in our 20s, and we can still do that occasionally. Like I can occasionally throw a big load of laundry in and just be
Facts.
like, I don't care what happens in there.
Yeah, honestly, or like things that say dry clean only. I'm like, I'm gonna put this on delicate, and if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
She lived a good life.
Yeah, like let go and let God. at this point.
Exactly. It's out of my hands.
Yeah,
You know?
what can I do?
Exactly. I
But
for sure agree. So,
anyways.
anyways, young hoe behavior. That's what they're calling
young
it.
hoes, I guess.
Young hoes,
Wow.
and evidently we're still young hoes. Which okay, great.
Okay, good.
The word "young" is in front, so
yeah,
we're fine
we love
with
it. Okay, well, this was such a fun week.
Exactly.
Thank
you
you
so
for joining
much.
us.
We'll see you. We're off next week, but we'll see you the following one.
And we love you and we appreciate your support. And we hate to be annoying, but if you could just like and subscribe, we'd love you forever.
Thank
Okay,
you. Bye.